Good evening. This is today, June 8th. Our Public Safety Commission meeting is called to order. And may we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner K. Mitchell,
Here.
Commissioner M. Mitchell,
Here.
Commissioner Trejo, Vice Chair Lozano,
Here.
Chair Muse.
Okay. Shall we do the Pledge of Allegiance by Kenneth Mitchell?
Be honored, thank you. Please stand and face the flag, cover your heart if you wish. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, here I am again, surrounded by Mitchells. May I have the approval of the agenda? Have we looked it over? Okay.
I move that we approve the agenda for June 8th, 2023.
I'll second the motion.
And we'll take a vote. Commissioner K. Mitchell,
Aye.
Commissioner M. Mitchell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Lozano.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Moving on to the minutes from last month, May 11. Has everyone had a chance to review those? And who shall approve the minutes as presented? Or are there any corrections?
I'll move that we approve the minutes of the preceding meeting.
Second.
All right, we'll take a vote. Commissioner K. Mitchell,
Aye.
Commissioner M. Mitchell,
Aye.
Vice Chair Lozano.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Moving right along, we have no public people.
We have none.
Okay, so I don't have to say that. Okay, this is going fast. Code compliance, we'll listen to our monthly report from Christina. Tyler.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking down instead of up, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. So for the month of May 2023, code compliance received a total of 179 service requests. We performed 342 inspections. We issued 66 notices of violation. We issued 42 administrative citations totaling $140,300. 73 shopping carts were removed, and the overnight inspections performed by the SCVR officers was 54. Code compliance began its end-of-the-year cost recovery efforts. During this time of the year, our department works towards recovering all outstanding administrative citations and abatement costs associated with the 2023 fiscal year. Compliance Officer Human opened a case in April 2023 for unmaintained landscaping and vehicles leaking motor oil into the driveway and into the city's gutters on West Drive. Enforcement efforts were taken by Officer Human and several notices were issued to the property owner. The vehicles were removed, the oils were cleaned up, and the landscape was maintained. Compliance Officer Human also opened up a case in June of 22 for illegal construction on 3rd Street. The property owner was illegally adding a room addition to the single-family residential property and illegal windows without pulling permits or having a building inspection. A notice was mailed to the property owner with corrective actions stipulated on the document. After several months of code compliance officer Human gained compliance. Compliance officer Human opened a case in March of 22 for visual blight and property maintenance violations on 6th Street. After continued enforcement efforts done by Officer Human, the property sold and the new buyer agreed to fix all outstanding violations left by the previous owner. And code compliance has demolished 6 of the 7 properties at the Sarah Hotel and the surrounding abandoned hotels.
Is that it? Thank you. Does your compliance include telling people to cut their trees when you can't see the stop sign?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because there are a few that I have noticed. One, well, we don't have, it isn't a stop sign, but it's going into the street. You have to go like that a little bit, so, okay, I'll leave that up to you. And again, the before and after pictures are always very nice. I appreciate that. Well, it's a little hard to do what you do, and especially when it gets warm out, but I thank you. Anyone else?
I'd just like to commend Code Compliance for their work on the Sahara Hotel properties. That's been a concern of mine ever since the abatement began, and we knew that that was a hazard there. There are other properties that I'm still keeping an eye on as to what's going to happen with them, but at this time, I'm just going to go ahead and say congratulations and good work on the Sahara Hotel. Thank you very much.
That's a lifelong code case, career-long code case over there, so I'm excited to see it come to an end.
I'm sure. Thanks again.
Just a point of clarification. On bullet number 3, the second half, I'm assuming shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
realize that was still there.
Okay, and so the first half, it's been corrected. There's corrected by the property owner.
Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Any more? Thank you very much. And now we'll go to our Animal Control Monthly Report. Is that Chief Henson? Well, who is it? It says right here.
No, but Stephanie's right here, so Stephanie will be giving that report.
Okay.
Our supervisor is Zamora.
So for the month of May, we've had 30 intakes, whether that be canines and felines. We've had 18 of those returned to owner. 17 of those we've sent to rescues, which is actually very good because everybody is extremely full. We've also had 10 adoptions for this month, for the month of May. 0 were sent to CVAC, 15 were taken to the vet, and we've had 16 dead upon arrivals. 0 have passed away. 5 were euthanized due to extreme medical issues. We had 30 licenses. We've issued 31 administrative cites and issued 36 warning citations, had 214 calls for service, and the Animal Action League bus was in our parking lot for 2 days for the month of May, and they spayed and neutered 55 animals, which is very good.
Yes.
We also did a homeless welfare check of all that we can find animals within the city, and we microchipped them and provided vaccinations and food for the homeless pets, and that was approximately 20 to 25 dogs.
That's wonderful. But when you microchip for homeless pets, people, where they go, what do you put down as an address, or what is?
So the registration would have to be done by them, by the owner. When we purchase microchips, the microchips it shows that it's sold to our facility. So if the dog is lost and the owners have never put their information on the microchip, it comes back to our shelter.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, thank you. That's a great report about the bus sprayed and neutered animals. When you're talking about the 16 dead on arrival, are you talking mostly cats or dogs?
Both.
Well, it's a great job again, and I thank you. Mr. Mitchell?
Just a quick question. I think I've asked this question before, and this is for my own memory being refreshed. When you say animals are sent to rescue, is rescue a single organization? Is it a group of individuals? And who actually constitutes what is considered rescue for the purpose of this report?
So what constitutes a rescue is a 501c3.
Okay.
They have to have that paperwork, and it's different organizations. It's not just one set facility. It's we go anywhere. We just took a dog up north. We take dogs to LA County. It just depends who is open, who's available, and who has space.
Okay, okay. And the other question is one that I've asked for several consecutive meetings. How's your staffing going right now?
We're at staffing levels right now.
At your maximum allotted?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good. All right, well, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's a great thing that, we're caring for the animals of the unsheltered. Just a question, do we give the dogs and cats physicals as well?
Well,
Or-
unfortunately, there's not a veterinarian on staff that will go out there with us. I'm a registered veterinary technician, so I'm allotted to give vaccinations, microchipping, and just general care.
Okay, thank you.
Are they given food
Yes,
to take with them?
yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Is that it? Thank you very much. You're doing a great job as usual. So now I'm going to try for the third thing, the fire department, by Mike Beverlin.
I'm here.
Yay.
I'm here. Good evening, Commissioners. Just looking over the month of May report, you can see that there were 517 incidences within the city boundaries of Desert Hot Springs. The average response time was 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Typical trends that we see pretty monthly. I'm still not able to correlate both Engine 36's responses with the responses with 37. However, I was able to pull a report for 36. So if I tallied it up right, basically it was 137 responses into the city from 36, which means there were 529 total responses between the two resources. Some of those are probably duplicates when it was a 2-engine response together. We're still working on trying to figure out a good way to have the report automated between the two, and IT just hasn't had a good luck at it so far. We're still working on it. There was one significant incident attached for May, and it was a 4 to 5 car vehicle accident with 4 patients with moderate injuries at the intersection of Two Bunch Palms and Little Morongo Road. That's pretty much the end of my report unless you have any questions.
Mr. Mitchell?
On your mutual aid received, you had 2 squad responses. Where's that squad responding from?
More than likely, it was probably from the city of Palm Desert, but without knowing that specifically, the other thing that does happen is from time to time, when an engine is out of service, mechanical will move personnel to the squad and run out of that while the mechanic's doing the work on the engine. So it could have been that as well. And if that were the case, it more than likely would have been from 36.
Okay. Yeah,
Anything else?
not at this time.
Mr. Mitchell?
I would just like to say that that intersection at Two Bunch Palms and Little Morongo, although it's a 4-way stop intersection, it is very dangerous. I drive that intersection, many times, and I see people run a stop sign or do a rolling stop. And as I mentioned last meeting, it gets even dangerous when you have the shift change at the Teeter cannabis place there. So it is a dangerous intersection.
Thank you. Anyone else? We're good? I always think of something after, but that's okay. Thank you. As usual, great job. Thank you. And now, I got this right. Chief Henson, Police Department.
I'll defer to Stephanie tomorrow if she wants to do the police department. All right, looking over the stats, the first sheet, I apologize it came out late, but we had some issues. But Not really going to go over anything on the first sheet. If there's something that you would like to know about, I'll give you a chance here. On the second sheet are events. You're going to start to see that going up based on the summer, and also the fact that we have officers in training. So there's going to be more stops made when they're out training and running two-man units. Yesterday at City Council, we swore in 3 officers. Gives us 27. Our allotted is 33. We have 2 more coming this coming month. At the end of the month, we'll have 2 more. Epic recruiting. If you go on to the internet and type in joindhspd.com, you will see our recruiting videos. There's several of them. Start to scroll down, you see start video, just press that, and they're really nicely done, and I encourage you to look at that and share that information. The last few weeks, we've really been hitting Palm Drive with homelessness and trying to help out, and I know Stephanie had talked about the microchipping and the vaccinations for the dogs, and I know the question was asked, how do the dogs get back with the microchipping? She knows all these dogs in the city, and a lot of times just on view, she's able to tell you who it belongs to. So along with that, they took pictures, and so they usually get back to the right owner, and sometimes they don't even have to be microchipped because she knows the dogs when they come in and where they're living.
Wow.
And like she said, she is a vet tech, so while we were out there, if they had any health issues, she tried to address those. The cleanup on Palm Drive, we had some targets there, and it's the laundromat, AM/PM, Bonds, and the animal hospital. And if you go up and down Palm Drive, you will see the cleanup. It's off of Palm Drive, and a lot of that was done without really enforcement. It was just talking to the individuals, letting them know what the city was focusing on. And it goes a long way. When you help out their animals, they're more than willing to also help you out and move to different locations. So a lot of that was done without any police enforcement. Here in the next few months, we're going to start construction in the back of our building. I don't know if any of you have been out to the Friday night food trucks. I've gone to the last 3. They're outstanding. Get a lot of compliments for it, and I know they're going to push that through the end of the year. They're going to continue that. Allows the residents to stay in town and not have to go into another city to get different food items. So it's really been a good thing. This summer, we're also in the police department. You're going to start seeing us focus on, and this is where I think you guys can actually help us out in coming up with the agendas for this. We want to have like a business night where we have all the business owners come in and do a presentation for them on what the police department can do and what our limitations are. I hear that they don't call us because of several different reasons. This is all word of mouth. So what I want to do is get everybody focused in here so that we could have a meeting where we could discuss all this and try to make sure that they understand what we can and cannot do. But it's always appropriate to call the police department. And so we want to try to deal with that in that way. Another aspect where I think you guys can help us out is we want to form a police academy again. We had it way back when, do 8 to 10 meetings, but trying to get the agenda for that to allow people to come on in and for 8 straight weeks learn about the police department, what we can do and what we can't do.
Right.
And then in future meetings, I know we're closed in August, you're going to start seeing the commanders. We're going to start bringing them out. Doesn't necessarily mean the deputy chief or myself won't attend, but they'll start running the meetings so that we could get them out and get them to this committee so that you guys could see them and they could start working on some of these issues too. So it's not saying that the deputy chief or I don't think that this committee is worth the time, because that's not the case, but I need to get the commanders out, and you'll probably see the deputy chief and I also in here to try to help that process go along. And that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Well, would you contact Daniel to set up a meeting with us for future?
Yeah, unless the first meeting in September, we could talk about that and roundtable it and see what kind of things you think you want to see in this meeting. I think just in our regular meetings, we could have that dialogue and come up with what we think the needs and what should be addressed.
Okay, Daniel, can you put that, agendize that? Yeah, okay. Well, that sounds good. I'm always willing to help. And Mr. Mitchell?
Okay, well, you said you'd like to establish a police academy, which I'm presuming would be like a citizens police academy.
Correct.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
it'd be an 8 to 10, X amount of hours and things
Uh-huh.
like that. So, whatever we can do to assist, maybe we can address that also in September.
Or we could push that off to October, but I think this is probably good for the committee to work with us to see what we want to agendize so that when we have that meeting, we've collaborated and came up with our best ideas.
Okay.
And I also understand that it may have been within the last year, maybe 2 years ago, that there was a meeting along those similar lines that focused on the operation of the entire city. And the police department occupied a segment of that.
Correct. Way
that
back
class.
5 or 6 years ago, we had Jim Nab that ran the academy, and so we would be bringing that back, but now there's different things that people want to hear. So I don't want it just to come from the police department. I want the committee to come forward with some of the things that they think they want to see in this so that we can come up with a program that meets both our needs.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, I agree. Sounds good.
Yeah, I agree.
No questions.
Good. Well, Chief Henson, it's nice to see you again. Thank you for your report. I think you're doing a wonderful job, as you know. I personally feel that way, so.
Thank you. And I forgot one other thing. I know Desert Willows had reached out. I don't know if you guys got letters, but Desert Willows had an issue where they wanted extra patrol and stuff, and we're working with Desert Willows. The extra patrol started 2 days ago, so if you didn't get the letter, they're trying to get a letter to you now. Just be looking out for that, but rest assured that we're trying to work with them to address their needs.
Oh, okay, I did not get a letter.
Councilman Gardner called me last night, and he spoke to me about Desert Willows. I have the contact name of the chair of their HOA, so I'm going to reach out to her.
Yeah, and they've actually reached out to me while we just started this meeting, so hopefully they'll come in, and then I'll attend one of their breakfast meetings.
Okay, I've got nothing, so.
I'm done with are we moving to the commissioner reports at this time?
Guess we're done. Okay, here we are. This is a fast meeting tonight. Now we're ready for the commissioner reports. Would you like to go first?
Sure. Well, I did attend an active shooter training class at the Coachella Valley Disaster Preparedness Network, headquartered at 41550 Eclectic Street in Palm Desert. It was different from the active shooter training that I received when I was in service as a firefighter. It was more or less garnered toward the civilian population, but it made some interesting points, and there was a bit of method to my madness. I wanted to introduce the City of Desert Hot Springs and the Public Safety Commission to them to find out exactly what resources they have available to them in the area of disaster preparedness. I know that we've talked about this in previous time. I actually made contact with the president of that organization, who are all volunteers, by the way, and I mentioned that they should be commended for their involvement. And we were unable to get her agendized to do a short presentation here. So I'm still in contact with her, and we're hoping to have her come out in either September or October and do a presentation on her services, and in addition, anything that we in Desert Hot Springs can do to support their operation.
That would be wonderful.
You know, it'd be something to look forward to. And I was going to report on the upcoming Regional Public Safety Commission meeting at the Coachella Valley Association of Governments in Palm Desert, but I found out shortly before this meeting commenced that that meeting's been canceled. So maybe they heard I was coming. They just said, oh, we can't have that
That's
guy
always
here.
possible,
You know,
yeah.
So, there'll be future reports forthcoming with that organization as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mitchell, because you know that's one of my big issues is disaster preparedness for the citizens of Desert Hot Springs. I think it's very important. And, you know, when I lived in Oakland, we had a huge program surrounding disaster preparedness. And within neighborhoods, we had captains who were responsible for that for different neighborhoods. I did at the last meeting, we talked about trying to contact as many heads of the HOAs as possible or the public safety committees within the HOAs. I have some of those names that I will give you. Maybe in September, you know, we can start attending their meetings just so we can introduce ourselves and they know that we are basically the first point of contact before they go to city council. Not that they can't go, but we should know what their issues are as well.
I would just add in addition to that, because the subdivision in which I reside does not have an HOA. We had a group of citizens that assembled for a cause unrelated to public safety. But even reaching out to the neighborhoods that are not such organized to let them know of our existence, what we stand for, and whatever their concerns are. So to echo your statement.
I agree. That's all I have.
That was very good, and I think that was our wishes from last meeting to start getting out there and see what other public safety commissions are doing, not only in country clubs, but in other cities. And I'm hoping to hear from some of those so that we can attend perhaps some of those. The only thing that I keep complaining about is the change in our streets. I mean, those green lines, they're already dirty. They're already dirty. I don't know what they're doing. And I've asked Daniel for somebody to talk to me.
The Public Works Director has not reached out to you yet?
No.
I've spoken with him 3 times. Okay.
Just here, give me their name and number and I'll call them.
Nick Haker. I'll get you his card.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's silly to see like, what is it, 8th Street? That you have a stop sign and then another stop sign right next to it. I'm not understanding that. And you know, in a city where we're growing, thank you God, finally growing, you add more lanes, not take them away. And I'm really disappointed in that whole one-lane situation.
Well, I have some information from you. That was done on a grant, and it was done to slow traffic down. The more lanes you have, the faster people will go. Those green lines are to let the bicyclists know on the bike lane that traffic is going to start to move over to make those turns. But it was done to reduce traffic. I know some people aren't happy with them, and then we have some people that are. And in fact, a business that had said, hey, can we do it further down? Obviously, if you go further down, you run into the commercial district, and that would cause a problem too. But it was done on a grant, and Nick Haker will be able to give you more information. But that's what those lines meant.
Sure, I understand the whole grant situation, but I have a lot of comments for him. So, I mean, people still call me and they still text me, you know, from my name, and I'm not happy, period. I mean, I've been here, we know, since I was a baby. Joke. Anyway, thank you. I would really I do want to speak with him. If he's called, he hasn't left a message, and he hasn't texted, and he has not emailed me, so I don't know, you know. And I think that was really all that I had. I'm real happy with everything in the city, and I think one of the things we may want to discuss is how long are we going to be dark this summer? Are we going to do July and August, or are we going to do just August? And do we have a quorum? the three? Yes, yes, we do.
You know, I actually brought this up just in case this did. Actually, it's in the code that we're dark for July and August. I'll show you right here.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, there you go. So if you see, the regular meetings of the Public Safety Commission shall be held at 6 PM on the second Thursday of each month, except for the months of July and August.
Okay. Well, prior or after that, we did have things that were going on, so we would only go 1 month, but, okay, for my own self, I'm good for July and August. Mr. Mitchell? Mr. Mitchell?
Aye, agreed.
So should we take a vote on this, or what do we need?
It's already in the code.
So we're good. And that brings us to a happy close.
I just had one more thing to
Uh-oh.
echo, to echo our captain tonight about the change in the streets throughout the city. And it's not necessarily an indictment of or an endorsement of what's going on. It's just kind of a caution, and it maybe would be when you meet with Mr. Haker, is while we don't want Desert Hot Springs to become Los Angeles East, crisscrossed with thoroughfares, there has to be an understanding that our emergency vehicles are not designed to cross desert terrain, and they're not designed to fly.
Right.
And if we're concerned about response times into certain areas of the cities, and just, I can mention a couple of them to Nick as you meet them, we're going to have to consider, there has to be some compromise in the design to make sure that our emergency vehicles can access every point in the city within, the recommended response times and FPA, whatever response time quotient that the law enforcement vehicles. Because we can't have our law enforcement vehicles are not four-wheel drive, and they don't have rotors. So we're going to, that's the primary reason we have streets to begin with, is to provide access for fire
Right.
apparatus and emergency services. So just a thought.
Okay. Anyone else tonight? Well, this is weird. 6:32. This meeting is adjourned, and we'll see you in September. That's a song. Thank you very much. And I have to do this.
Yes, you do. And you do it well.
Thank you.